Can I tell you something almost embarrassing? Is that my 30s feel better than my 20s. And it's hard to admit that. There's a lot of shame that comes with that statement, and that a lot of us ladies in our 30s are not speaking about. But you know me, I'm here with the truth bomb. This is starting over in your 30s, what no one tells you. Let's get it. People tell you to grind, hustle, prove yourself, sleep when you're dead. And if you're not successful by the time you're 30, you're behind. I thought that life was a race and the 30 was the finish line. When I was in my 20s, I was finishing college and entering the workforce, and I had really low self-esteem, pretty bad relationships. I just wanted to hustle and prove myself. I entered in marketing. I ate a lot of junk food. I wasn't sleeping. I thought that the more hours in the day I would invest in my brand and my studying and my learning or my knowledge about marketing, I could be better. But really, I was unhealthy. My hair was falling off. My acne was out of control. My weight was out of control. I was in a toxic working environment. I was competing with a lot of men, so I wanted to be one of the bros. And that made me look very masculine, or like it was omitting some kind of masculine energy. And I was under a lot of pressure. I was in constant pressure by no one other than myself to prove myself that I was better. If you haven't seen my videos, you should check this one out. You'll see what I mean, because the rap sheet on the accomplishments and the accolades that I had on paper looks ambitious, looks impressive, but in reality, I was exhausted and I was anxious all the time. I wasn't building a life. I was bracing for impact every day. Like, what's going to happen now? Who am I competing against now? Who's going to tell me this? Who's going to tell me that? It's not even a good morning. It's like, did you do this? Did you not do that? It was like constantly exhausting and just inhuman to really keep up with the image of the person that I wanted to be. Like, who in their 20s wants to be this big shot tycoon marketing executive? It was like this social media rat race that I had, and the hustle culture on social media really damaged me, the way that I perceive life, and I thought that I was behind all the time. And I was really scared to turn 30 because I thought that I was failing at life. I didn't have all the things that I thought that I needed by the time I was 30. I didn't have a husband, a house. I didn't have the children. I didn't have the big marketing job. I didn't have the marketing agency that I wanted to own. I wasn't even a director. I was just not where I made up the story of where I wanted to be. It was not it. It was not there. Was not happening. So when I was 29, I was very scared to make that jump to the big 3-0. And let me tell you, it's like magic. It's like a wave happened the minute I turned 30. I was like, whoa, the decade ended and a new one is starting. And now I get to decide how I live this decade, this chapter of my life. I get to decide how I live it, what I want to build, what I want to do, not anybody else's perception, not social media garbage, not society's input of what 30 should look like. I get to decide, and I get to do what I want, go wherever I want. And there's power in that. There's power in choice. And that's what I had. That was my birthday present. I had choice. So that's when I started to rethink, how am I living my life? And what is it that I want from life? What is it that I want out of life? Because this constant anxiety and this constant like unhealthy way of living is just not what I'm looking for. I was not living like myself. I was performing, trying to project strength, which was completely not myself. I was just not being me. I wasn't being authentic to me. I was being the person that I thought I should be, and it was not working. wasn't working. Then I started analyzing my life and started analyzing my interactions at work, my interactions in my daily life, and the relationships that I had. And I started realizing that in the marketing industry where I was working at, every little mistake was amplified. And then as I look back after this all happened, and I just sit down with myself and I'm thinking, this is not the life you're supposed to live. Your 20s have been total torture. You've been on survival mode most of this whole decade. And you went from being an overachiever in college, getting these corporate jobs, and absolutely being drained. You didn't build a life. You are just living to work in these horrible environments that don't even appreciate you a little bit. Are you going to continue this in this next chapter? It's really eye-opening once you realize that it's been 10 years since you last changed a number. You know, all the time you're saying I'm 20, 21, 20 something, 2020, 2020, and all of a sudden it's like, whoa, wait, 10 years have passed and I'm 30. I realized that the habits that I gained during this time, during this toxic environment, in this horrible working environment, I didn't become disciplined because I was motivated. I became disciplined because I was scared. After I evaluated myself and looked at the rap sheet that I had of suffering, overweight, unhealthiness, bad relationships, and really had no receipts from my 20s. So I figured, what am I going to do now? Like, this cannot continue. I need to change the script, change my story. This is a whole new chapter. The pages are empty. Give me a pen. I started writing down the way that I wanted my life to look. And that's how I started to get into insurance and started diving into career paths that will allow me to work and to live the way that I want to. I wanted to work from home, and I wanted an opportunity where my finances were not tied to a salary and I could be independent financially, where I can make them. I can make the money that I want, and it depends on me and my production. Another thing I wanted to do is I wanted to focus on my health. And one of the things I really enjoy is cooking. When I'm cooking, the only thing I'm thinking about is a meal. I don't think about anything else. Nothing is important. Everything else goes out the door. All I'm thinking about is what I have in front of me and what meal am I going to make and for how many people. And one thing I wanted to focus on was meal prepping and creating meals for me that are healthy and will fuel me and not drain me like junk food. I wanted time to go to the gym. I didn't want to be completely exhausted when I got home from work and just completely drained from the day that all I did was take naps and didn't do anything, so I couldn't go to the gym. Taking care of my dogs, I could barely do that. I could only walk them in the morning, and good luck if I could walk them in the evening. I would even ask my mom to walk them, or they wouldn't be walked. They would have to stay inside, and that's just like not the life that I want for my dogs, for my fur babies. So I wanted to prioritize time with them and be a good dog mom, you know. This one, so I'm also making space for my husband to be and my kids that I'll have, because when you're working remote or you're working for yourself independently as an insurance agent, you have a lot more flexibility, and I can take care of my kids, and I'll have space for my husband if we can go and travel, and we can have home life together. I really want that. So I decided to make space for him when he comes. That way it's a lot easier to receive. And that's manifestation 101. If you want something, make space for it as if you already have it, and it's there. And lastly, I want to build my YouTube channel on my own terms. I'll share this little secret with you, and if you go back to my first videos, you'll see when I started this YouTube channel, it was approximately from the time I'm recording now, it was 6 years ago. But I'm growing it right now, and I'm building it right now, because I had a lot of imposter syndrome in the beginning, and also the marketing job that I had. Saw that I was creating videos, saw that I was building my own brand, and basically prohibit me from publishing and creating my own brand. It hurt me so much. It's really traumatic what happened, because I was building something, and I had become a LinkedIn creator because I would write articles, and I had a newsletter, and I was one of those first people to receive that feature from LinkedIn, and they made me take it down, and they made me destroy my brand because I needed to work for them and create the brand for them. And it was like a non-negotiable. If I didn't do that, if I didn't put my needs, my brand on the side, and they would just let me go. And they also frowned upon me taking clients as a freelance marketer. So if you want to hear more about that story, go ahead, leave me a comment and let me know what resonates for you and what you want to hear from me and how I dealt with it. Anyway, so going back to becoming 30, in my 30s now, I feel like I'm not trying anymore. I'm not trying to impress anybody. I'm not trying to prove myself anymore. I'm not trying to prove myself to anybody. I'm protecting my peace and building the life that I want for me. Now, let's debunk a few things. Lean in. Let's talk about this, because I am here to debunk, disrupt, and destroy all these nonsense that people say in the internet that have absolutely destroyed my last decade of life. And I'm not going to let that happen to you. So lean in and listen to what I have to say. Let's go over the myth of starting over. Now, when you think about starting over, a lot of people think, oh, starting over is a failure. Like you lost something or you're behind. First of all, life is not a race. Your life is only one, and it is yours. And what you do with it is your choice. The minute you start racing, comparing yourself to other people, you are giving your power away. You are putting yourself in the shape of someone else. If you wear someone else's clothes, is it going to fit you? No, because it's not your fit. So stop trying on other people's clothing and go shopping for yourself and find out what you like and what's your style. The truth is, it's not starting over. It's starting to align. To start to align yourself to the person you actually are and to the person that you will be proud of in the next decade to come. The truth is, your 20s are not meant for you to make it, okay? Let me say that again for the people in the back. Your 20s are not for you to make it. They're your time for experimenting, for experimentation, getting to know yourself, getting to know what you like, what you don't like. The time to make mistakes, not dedicate your life to a dead-end career. Change careers multiple times if you have to. Also, date around. Don't marry the first guy you see, okay? Like, don't waste your 20s on a guy that you're too young to even understand what your standards are. So date around and find out what your standards are and what are your expectations and what are your likes and dislikes. It's the same thing. It's your time to explore. Now, by the time you get to your 30s, honey, your 30s are intentional. By this time, you've been to Aroma Joe's a couple times, and you already know what you like. You already know what drains you, what hurts you, and what you actually want. I didn't lose anything in my 20s. They taught me what not to build. They taught me what not to build again, not to do again. So here's my advice. If you are in your 20s and you're thinking that this hustle culture is for you, or you're in your 30s like me and thinking, oh, I'm starting over, I feel like such a loser, lean in again, sis, because I'm here for you. You don't have to rush your life. Life is there. It's like a giant empty canvas that you can just do whatever you want. And if you go one road and you don't like it, you can turn around and take the other and take another and take another. Or you can do exactly what I did when I hit a wall. I just build a new way. Just break it down and build a new way. Second, you don't have to compete with men to be valuable. You don't. You just have to be your beautiful feminine self and work your own way at your own pace. I spoke about this in my previous videos. We are not built the same as men. We don't have the same health as men because as women, we go through lunar cycles. And point number 3, you don't have to stay in environments that scare you. I could have left that environment of the marketing industry where I was. I could have left eons ago, and I never did because I had this idea in my head instead of exploring new avenues and seeing what's out there. Peace is productive. When you have inner peace, when you are not anxious and you are well rested and healthy, you will be a gajillion times more productive than if you were competing with men and being in this social media hustle culture. You don't have to do that. Find your peace, build your peace, protect it. Slower doesn't mean failing. There are so many people that started way later in life in their careers and they are so famous. And finally, you're allowed to design a life that feels soft. I mean, if you want to do what I'm doing, where it's like working at home, prioritizing your health, prioritizing your wellness, time with your dogs, with your family, time at the gym, making space for travel, for husbands and kids. I mean, yeah, that's what's going to make you happy. You prioritize your happiness and living softly, because once you live that anxious life, all you want is a break. One thing I want to say before I go is that if you are in your 30s and you're starting over, maybe you're not behind. Maybe you are finally choosing yourself. And that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to leave me a comment. Tell me where you are in your journey. What changed for you in this decade? I read every single comment, and I really appreciate all of your support. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for commenting. Don't forget to follow our podcast, She is a Beast, wherever you listen to podcasts. And I really hope that you enjoyed this content. Thank you so much, and catch you in the next time. Bye.